Hello, and welcome to the Tech Lab Brief. Give us 30 minutes, and we'll give you all the latest updates in tech news happening both here and outside of BK Tech Labs. I'm your host, BK. Let's jump right into it. The Enterprise Agent Protocol Showdown, an alliance of Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Cisco, that's a lot of names, Databricks, and NVIDIA, has introduced the Agentic Resource Discovery Protocol, aiming to standardize how AI agents discover enterprise tools and services. OpenAI and Anthropic are notably absent. Yeah, so the AI industry is entering a standards war. I don't know if you guys heard of MCP for Model Context Protocol. It's something that Anthropic came up with pretty early on in the AI game, and it's an open protocol. So like it's the whole open source AI community went crazy building all these tools to integrate with AI, and MCP has just been this thing that we've really appreciated Anthropic coming up with way back when. It's basically just like a wrapper around HTTP, but it's a way for AI to interact with it really well. Um, so OpenAI at a certain point was like, okay, we'll join on this with you guys. It was a joint effort that eventually OpenAI was like, okay, we'll also support MCP on our models as well. And the thing is, this agentic resource discovery protocol, it it's a bit of a different layer. It helps enterprise agents discover what resources and capabilities exist across the large organizations, right? So it's more of like an enterprise tool, but it's called agentic resource discovery. So enterprises have resources, and then we're going to start talking about really abstract things at that point. OpenAI and Anthropic weren't in there, so they're not being included in this ARD thing, and they're saying it's supposed to complement MCP rather than trying to replace it. But we're watching the formation of AI, equivalent to like when the internet was first being founded, and whether whoever gets the control of the protocol kind of gains this influence of the AI ecosystem, making this less about today's software, more about tomorrow's infrastructure. The Linux Foundation and Coinbase launched the X402 protocol. It's for native internet payments. Today's web requests separate requests from payments. AI agents can call APIs, but usually need humans to authenticate and pay. X402 aims to make payments a built-in part of the HTTP protocol itself. So there's a lot of talk about protocols these days. So Coinbase donated this X402 protocol to the Linux Foundation, which is supposed to enable APIs, AI agents, and applications to exchange money, like data. And industry participants include major payment and cloud companies. If it's widely adopted, this could become foundational infrastructure for the agent economy, enabling autonomous software to purchase services, access premium APIs, or compensate one another without human intervention. So if you will, AI passing money to another AI, passing money to another AI, passing money to another AI. X402, you probably will have heard it here first. I mean, it came out of the place, but who knows? So Mozilla, the creators of Firefox, just came out with their inaugural State of the Open Source AI report. So this report argues that open source models have largely closed the capability gap with proprietary models, and it highlights a growing adoption across East Asia. For years, frontier AI meant closed models from companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, but open weight models have improved rapidly as the community is scaling training, fine-tuning, and deployment. Respondents of more than 950 developers report that capability differences continue shrinking, and compute costs increase dramatically when chasing the final increments of model performance. So the competitive advantage is shifting. Instead of simply asking who has the smartest model, organizations increasingly ask whether the marginal performance gains can justify the exponentially higher infrastructure costs. Also, open source models are becoming the practical default for many production workloads. There's a trade-off though. If you can reduce the cost of how much you're paying for the AI to do the token generation, to write the code for you, pretty much. But we've discussed topics earlier about like hallucinating AIs that might hallucinate and pull in a package that it misnamed in that hallucination that some malicious actor purchased, and now is now you're injecting malicious code into your code because you wanted the AI because the AI is doing it, and we ended up paying we ended up going with the AI that costs less. And I guess Firefox's report is saying that the marginal performance difference is now up to 4% or so, I think is what the report says. Um, Time can only tell. xAI's Grok build, CLI, someone did a teardown on it. And this researcher developed that xAI's Grok build CLI was uploading entire repositories, including files the tool never accessed, to cloud storage, prompting xAI to disable the behavior after public scrutiny. So, I mean, was this functionality built into Grok? Did the Grok just kind of come to do this on its own? In either case, Grok is stealing your code. There's really no two ways about that. Sorry to put it that way, Elon. AI coding assistants require some context from local projects, but developers generally expect only relevant files to be transmitted. The controversy centered on how much data was being collected and whether privacy controls behaved as users expected. What are the users expecting? So researchers observed that there were uploads of roughly 5 gigabytes from a 12 gigabyte repository. And these uploads reportedly occurred regardless of the visible improve the model setting. And xAI subsequently disabled the repository upload server side. And Elon did previously state that the uploaded data would be deleted. But this story isn't just about Grok. It raises broader questions about transparency and trust in AI developer tools. As coding assistants gain deeper access to source code, the enterprises will increasingly scrutinize what data leaves the developer machines, how privacy controls are implemented, and whether vendors communicate that behavior clearly. So, is the tool actually respecting my privacy? Permission. Permission and forgiveness. That's the saying, right? It's better to ask for permission than beg for forgiveness. But not beg, you just say it's better to ask for permission than for forgiveness. And that brings us to today's knowledge segment. And for today's knowledge segment, because there was a lot of discussion of protocols, today we're going to talk about protocols. And first, we'll talk a little bit about what ReChat is. ReChat. It's kind of like a YouTube for AI chats. We're using the YouTube style, the YouTube user interface experience, because it's the one that we're most familiar with. There's a sense of familiarity as we scroll through a feed of AI chats that our users have gracefully shared, and the door is open for anyone who's willing to engage in this concept of collective intelligence, which is a concept that we'll continue to dive into and expand on and practice as well. All right, AI agent protocols discovery, payment execution. So previous experimentation has shown that the optimal speed for reading it loud is about 200. So away we go. To understand protocols, let's start completely away from computers. Think of a protocol simply as a set of rules for how two things interact. So like an AI agent to an AI agent. So they don't misunderstand each other. In human life, a protocol is a handshake. You extend your right hand, they extend their right. Yeah, they extend their right hand, right? So I'm gonna ask my intern who's off camera right now to demonstrate. I'm sticking out my right hand, and if we're gonna shake our hands, yeah, just keep on the camera, right? We're shaking hands, right? He has to stick out his right hand. I'm sticking out my right hand. He's sticking out his right hand. If we're gonna shake our hands, we got to do our right hands, right? I mean, if he sticks out his left hand, I mean, this is still a bit of it is a handshake, I guess, but because you could do like this, right? But this would be like a handshake between two people who kind of know each other, right? Better than, but if you're meeting someone for the first time, there is a known protocol amongst human beings that we shake hands like this, right? And then I guess you could shake your hand with left, but we don't do that, right? We don't shake our hands. We don't shake our hands with our left. Maybe that's a question we could ask AI and throw into WeChat because I'm actually curious why. But I remember shaking hands with the left hand one time. And they're like, no, we don't do that. So, oh, this WeChat's kind of long, and honestly, I feel like that was a pretty good explanation of protocols. We could just stop right there. But it's talking about kissing, and we could look into that. If you extend your right hand and they try to bow or high five or kiss your cheek, the interaction breaks down because you aren't using the same protocol. And on the internet, the most famous protocol is HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's the agreement that allows your web browser to talk to a website server. If I send you a request for a URL, you send me back the text and images for that page. And then the new era, protocols for AI agents. And I think we'll pause there. So this is the Tech Lab brief, and we want to catch everyone up on this whole AI situation. And in order to do that, to get the full grasp, full understanding, and the full appreciation for this AI situation and the technology, how it works, and how we can best use it, there are certain fundamentals that we want to get, and I'll go back to the WeChat. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And it's not too dissimilar from HTML, which is the Hypertext Markup Language. And on that note, that brings our knowledge segment today to an end, which brings us to today's Barcade segment, brought to you by BK Tech Labs. BK Tech Labs, ushering in the era of collective intelligence, bringing an end to the gatekeeping of knowledge. Join us, become a member, shape the narrative. So, today's Barcade segment is going to be, I guess, the standard step through of the global arena. So let me set that up real quick. And let's talk chess. What a wild game going on. So if we go through the game log, the last move was a pawn capturing a pawn, right? Can we use arrows? Can we use arrows? Yeah, we can use arrows. Great. Keyboard shortcuts are good. So how long has that pawn been sitting there for? Wow. For a while. All right, so we traded the queens, and then black decided to move his pawn up 2. And then we did another single pawn movement, more pawn movement, and then capture the pawn. And now it's blue's turn. And if I was blue, which I'm not because my account is on team red, I would probably take the pawn. Oh, yep, gotta click this again. Yep, click it again, and now I can click the board. It's a fun little bug. Although I think we may fix the bug. You capture, right? I mean, get that bishop into the board. That's good. So that's the prediction for chess. If we could see what some of the AIs have decided. Right? Maybe it doesn't show. Oh, maybe if you're on the other team, if you make a prediction, it doesn't show what the AIs did. Yeah, we'll work on it. Tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row. It's Circle's turn, and if I was Circle, I would probably block that. Right? Yeah, not bad. And then connect 4. Oh, brand new game. And we'll just stack on top. That's most certainly what's going to happen. Is it the best move? Who knows? Okay, so let's connect 4. Checkers. Checkers is a good game. Let's see the state of this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 pieces to 9. So blue does have the lead. If I was blue, I mean, there's really only one move to make in checkers. If you can capture the piece, You got to capture the piece. So that's that. And having played all 4 games, that could bring our barricade segment to an end, or we could explore more, but not today. And that will bring our barricade segment. Oh, it always like switches off to, it's a whole OBS thing. And that brings our barricade segment today to an end, which also brings our briefing to an end. We hope you enjoyed this cast just as much as we enjoyed preparing for it. Please catch us for the next one tomorrow at 8 a.m. As always, we'd love to know what you think. Please leave your comments in the chat. We hope you might consider taking that extra step to support our platform as a member. And now, your Minute of Zen. How'd I do? I was counting to 60 in my head. All right. Safe drive back home. Have a great rest of the day. And we'll see you bright and early at 8. Bye now.